Be honest, guys. When you first saw these, you're like, that's a Gelgoog? How's it going, guys? It is Plastic Disasta back with another review, and today we gotta take a look at the HG Gquuuuux, Suagi's, and Bocata's Gelgoog. In other words, yes, it's a double review. Before you ask, yes, I do have the Gquuuuux on my backlog. I'll review it someday. Say it's your first time seeing this and you're wondering, well, I'm a Gundam fan, I know what a Gelgoog looks like. That's not a Gelgoog. Well, let me tell you something. Gquuuuux is an Elseworld UC. That's pretty much it. So, anyways, taking a look at the box art. First, Suagi's, we see her, flying around, shooting her, I think it's like some sort of wired weapon, and her partner in the background. And looking at Bocata's Gelgoog, firing the gun, and Suagi just flying off in the background. Before I keep going, I just noticed that this box is just a tad bit larger than the Suagi one. I don't know what's the difference going to be, so let's find out. So take a look at this side. We got the Gelgoogs in their action poses, and moving on to the right just shows off the weapon layout. And over here we have the front and the rear shot of the Gelgoogs. And after opening the box, they both have 3 bags of runners and a manual. Starting off with Suagi's, the cover is just a familiar image, and here's what's interesting. Usually, like right down there, it just shows what the mobile suit looks like in anime, but this is just the model. Checking the parts list, looks like we're gonna be using, well, almost all of them. And down here it just shows how you get the part off the runner assembly and putting on some decals. And look at the back of the manual, looks like we have some familiar poses, some close-up shots, and a painting guide if you're planning on painting it. Checking out Bocata's, again, same thing, familiar art, show off the model. Checking the parts list, we are using all of them. Checking the back, the usual familiar poses, close-up shots, and color guide. Start off with runner A, and get this, only Suagi's Gelgoog get this runner. Now this is a multicolored runner, of course. We got a big chunk of white, a shade of red, some yellow, and dark gray. Moving on to runner B, this is Suagi's, this is Bocata's. Now his is just kind of like the Italian flag if you look at it, because you got some green, some white, and some red. And even though I did say he is using all the parts, this is the the red X1. While Suagi's right here says all yellow, some white, black, and a little bit of gray, which they both have. Where C1 and C2 are gonna be the white parts, and they're gonna share this chunk of a runner. C2 is gonna be up here, while C1 is gonna be down there. Because D1 and D2 are gonna be the gray parts. D2 is gonna have this right here. D1 is gonna be right there, while they both share this chunk of a runner. Runner E is gonna be like a kind of like a bluish green parts. Now here's an interesting one. Bocata's Gelgoog has runners F1 and F2. So runner F1 is going to be a big chunk of white, some green, and gray, while F2 is going to be mostly gray and a bit of green. They both have these effect parts and bendable wires. Okay, here's another funny one. So Suagi's Gelgoog gets one little marking sticker that goes onto the shoulder, while Bocata's gets a yellow one, and it's one of those like color correcting stickers that just wraps around. Alright, so that's gonna be it for the unboxing portion. Now, I still don't know what's the difference gonna be too, because I thought they're gonna be the same build. Maybe they're gonna be a little different. I don't know. So I'll put it together right now. See you guys right after. Here is the 2 Gelgoogs all put together. Now to answer the question, is there a difference between building these 2? No, they're pretty much the same. I still find it funny that one has runner A and the other has runner F1 and 2, but if you guys know something, let me know down in the comments below. So, how is the building experience go? When you're putting this kit together, you will be amazed, especially on the color separation and the engineering. I have like no words to describe it, because Suagi's Gelgoog, I mean, obviously I showed you it doesn't have any color correcting stickers, while Bocata's Gelgoog, yeah, her mobile suit does have some color correcting stickers, so let's go over it real quick. Luckily for you, it's all on the leg. So these two little stickers, they go onto this little area right there, and while the number 1 stickers, they wrap around on the upper thigh piece. And these little stickers right here, they wrap around right here on this little white leg circle right here. You just have to pay attention which sticker goes to where. So we're still on the legs, let's talk about the seam lines. The ones you get are these little fuel tanks right here. If you look real closely, there's one right here and one little tiny one down there, and you also have ones on the forearms as well. Overall, the out-of-box presentation is actually pretty great. Now, in my opinion, Bocata's Gelgoog, I think she's fine without the yellow. But if you guys want to put some yellow on it, like let's say if you want to detail paint it, I highly recommend you use some masking tape. Talked about the upper thigh area. Let's move on to accessories. Keep in mind, they're pretty much the same kit. So what you see on the kit are the weapon holding hands. You also have an open palm hand for the left, and another one for the left hand is this little wire weapon right here. You can tell the enemy to get over here. Except you have 2 of these little beam guns right here, so they can dual wield it, of course. Finally, you have a beam saber handle. Now you might be thinking, okay, you just need one beam saber effect part, right? Well, no. There's one hole right here and one hole down there. You know what that means? That means you can Darth Maul it. And to store the weapons, you're gonna need this little piece, and once you store it, it's gonna look just like that, and you can just plug it onto the back skirt like so, and this is how it's gonna look. So moving on with articulation, you got this little neck joint right here. The head can go all the way up, and you also have this ball joint right down there. And as for the shoulder, it can swing forwards and backwards, it can shift up and down. Of course, it can rotate. Bicep swivel, single joint on the elbow, but it is more than 90 degrees. Ball joint on the wrist, and if you really want to count this can rotate. Onto the torso, you do get quite a bit of movement. You can crunch forward, can move back that far, side to side, and waist rotation. Moving on to the skirts, now this is kind of a funny one. All this is on a singular ball joint, and the back skirt, of course, it doesn't move. The leg can kick up this far, can move back that far, and you do get a limited thigh swivel due to the design. Now, if you want to bend a knee, you might want to move this little dresser up, and as for the bend, more than 90. Moving on down to the foot, it can go forward this far, it can move back that far, and the pivot is actually not too bad, and you also get a toe bend. Moving on to the backpack, just to show you real quick, it is on a ball joint and it can move up and down. Overall, the articulation on the kit is actually pretty good until you reach to the waist below. Now I forgot to mention about the splits, and this is as far as it goes, but I'm not too mad about it. Except the only 2 areas that kind of bother me in articulation would be the thighs, and get this, no rotation on the ankle. And again, I'll let it slide. Moving on to size comparisons, here it is to the look-alike, which is the standard size 1/144 scale GM. And as you can see, this GM is taller than the Gelgoogs. No, we're not counting the antenna height. Up next, we got the namesake, which is the original Gelgoog, and obviously it towers over both of them. And up next, here it is right next to the Gelgoog Menace that is not from the Universal Century timeline. You know what? Just for the hell of it, let's just get all these Gelgoogs together in one single frame. Now, tell me, which one's your favorite Gelgoog? And finally, here it is right next to Optimus Prime, SD Ariel, and Lego Batman. So that's going to be it for the size comparisons. Let's move on to my final thoughts. So moving on to my final thoughts, overall, these kits are actually quite fascinating. This is one of those kits that even though it has a few runners, but it can still achieve quite a handful. Because when you're putting this kit together, you can tell that Bandai went the extra mile in some areas. And just to cut it short, I recommend you pick this kit up. I think you might like this as much as I did. Okay, that's gonna be it for the review. And if you're new here, want to see more like this, be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. Questions, concerns, comment down below. I'll see you in the next one. So, if their Gelgoogs look like GMs, will their GMs look like Gelgoogs, or should I not think about it too much?